Most Utahns didn't have a clue who Sissel was until she appeared on the stage with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and began to sing. Her Christmas performance last year caused a sensation. Tonight, she'll talk about the experience and about how you make music with different styles and languages all ring true. Good evening, thanks for joining us. It's hard to pin down the singer Sissel in any style of music. I mean, she's practically done it all. Yes, at first she became famous in her native Norway for popular music, but over the years, Sissel has sung with folk bands, goth rockers, and classical ensembles. In many places around the world, Sissel is famous enough to only need the first name, kind of a Scandinavian Madonna or Cher. But here in the U.S., it was actually her acclaimed performance with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir at their Christmas concert last year that brought her into the consciousness of Utahns. Well, Sissel was back in Utah this month, here to promote the DVD of the Christmas concert, and she took some time to sit down and talk with us about music and about the inspiration she's always drawn from the natural world of home. In fact, her favorite song of all is a simple Norwegian folk song, a song she sang with the Tabernacle Choir. It's called My Heart Always Wanders.
It's a Christmas song.
Yeah.
It is a Norwegian Christmas carol. The lyrics is actually very dramatic, and because it says that I will give my life for you, and I know that you're always there, and I will always keep you in my heart.
You grew up, as you said, surrounded by nature. You had an ocean, I guess, in front of you. You had mountains behind you. What kind of inspiration was that in terms of the music that you chose, or just for your life in general, nature?
Well, I think that when you grew up so close to nature, I think the peacefulness. I love when it's peaceful and what's beautiful, but I also love what is very dramatic. Because when it storms and you're on the coast, it's very dramatic. So I guess that's what always been when I was listening to music, I loved these contrasts. So I think that maybe affected me quite a lot when I do my music. I want it to be beautiful and haunting, and still sometimes you should have this little bit of. Sometimes you could if it could just explode sometimes, that would be very nice.
Like an edge.
Yes, a little bit edge. And I think that's very beautiful. I mean, don't mean that all songs should have that. I just mean that sometimes in between you could have like this little edge, and because that's what life is about as well. Nothing. It's not, it's both sides.
On Sundays, you always would go for a hike with your family.
Yes, I grew up with that every Sunday. And believe me, in Bergen, the sun doesn't always shine on a Sunday. It's a lot of rain. It was very wet, but it didn't matter. I mean, they would say, come on, we go out hiking up in the mountains. And since we were there, we were living by the mountains, so it was quite natural. And in a way, I felt like, I didn't go to church on Sundays, but in a way, I felt like coming out in the nature, that was my church. And I still have it that way, actually. For me, walking out in the nature, that's the closest you can get.
I guess music was an important part of your tradition growing up. I mean, your family, they weren't musicians necessarily, but music, I guess, was important for your family.
Very much. The radio was always on. And my mom, I recall that my mom was always singing. She was always singing with the songs she heard on the radio. And she would also sing, like she would find other parts and humming with, and So I guess my parents, they were very musical, but they didn't take any education, or they didn't do anything else. But music was always around me, and that my brothers, they were listening to Pink Floyd and Kate Bush, and so I was and Queen. So I was a little bit. And my mom and dad listened to country and western and
Wow.
stuff. So I was a little bit mixed, but in a way that made me love music. It didn't matter what style it was. I just loved the music. It talked to me. It talked to my heart, and I think that's a fantastic way to grow up with different styles of music.
Well, you started singing in choirs when you were quite young.
Yeah.
What kind of education did that provide for you in terms of music, being in a choir?
Well, at the children's choir that I started with when I was 9, we had a conductor that was from New Zealand, and she was brought up in this English singing tradition, choir tradition. So people said actually we sounded like a boys' choir from England, this very pure and clear and no vibrato, very clean, and she was very good. So that was my start there. It sort of opened up the possibilities of singing classical music.
Wow. You became really famous in Norway when you were fairly young. And I wondered, I mean, I had read something where you had said that when you were growing up, you wanted to keep friends.
Mm.
You wanted to go to school. You wanted to have a somewhat normal life, despite the fact that you were a celebrity in Norway. Were you able to do that? Were you able to sort of keep a kind of normal life for yourself, do you think, when you were young?
Well, I was very persistent that I would,
Yeah.
that I want to have a normal life. It was hard.
Sure.
It was a little bit hard because when I was walking on the street with my friends, people would probably they would stop us and they would talk to me, and so but in a way that was also nice. I knew that that was part of it, but for me to go to school every day, that was my only chance that I had to be a normal girl, to be like everybody else. And I really treasure it so much. And I had a friend of mine who said, I bet you $10 that you will not be able to finish school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, I will do it. I will do it. I got the $10.
You got the $10. But when you were young, did you what was the life you envisioned for yourself? I mean, did you imagine yourself on the stage? Did you imagine this sort of international stardom? Is that what you were thinking?
Well, I knew definitely that I was not going to end up at an office.
Yeah.
Since I was professional, since I was 16, I went to a school of economics, and I knew.
Wow.
And I knew. Well, I didn't know anything before I started. I didn't know anything after,
Right.
because the last year I was so busy singing, and but for me it was so important to sort of have this opportunity to be a normal girl, but I knew that I was going to sing. Well, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to sing for the rest of my life, and I knew that if I was just honest to myself and say that, okay, this is what I can do. I can sing, and I will see what happens. I want an education. Yes, I want an education, but singing is my life. Singing is what I really want to do. I can't live without it. And then I was just lucky. I was lucky to be at the right place at the right time. And people liked my voice, so they wanted to hear me sing. I think the main thing for me is that I've never wanted to become a star. I always wanted just to sing.
Did you think of it, do you think of it, the ability to sing as a gift?
Yes. It's a huge gift. And I have a responsibility to take care of it and to treasure it and to
Share it?
Share it, yes. And to, yes, I have a talent that I've been given, and it's important for me to do the best with that gift.
If time has run its course with me, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to receive forgiveness for my sins. I'm ready to begin.
You said this, you hope music allows people to disappear for a moment.
When I'm on stage, I'm in a different world. When I perform, when I do a concert, I think it's very important that the audience out there, that they could have like a little bit of the same experience as I have because the songs are so important to me, and I would never do a song if it wasn't important to me.
Right.
I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to receive forgiveness for my
I wanted to ask you, you were 18 and they wanted you to come to the United States.
Yes.
and record and get started, and you were 18, but I don't know, somehow you had the presence of mind or something to say no. What was it? Were you not ready?
Well, I don't know. It's quite. I remember there was this one part of my team that I've been working with, and he get to meet some people from America, and he'd been working on this for over a year.
Wow.
And so I came over. I remember I met them in LA, and this producer, who was a very hot producer, he said, I was at his home and stuff like that, and then he said, well, what do you think? This guy from my team, do you want to? I think this will be a good idea, and you've become a huge star in America.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and I said, I'm sorry. It doesn't feel right. I can't do that now. And he just stopped and he said, do you mind if I just go for a little walk?
Because he had been thinking about this for a year.
Yes. And I didn't know that he's been working on this for a year. And when I hear about it now, I get so, oh no, what
But
did
it's
I do?
but it's an astounding response, though, because of why wouldn't you? You don't know what you were thinking. You just were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared or anything. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
I was not ready. I didn't feel that this was what I was going to do. Maybe because also that I didn't feel secure of what type of music I was going to do. Because then, if you're part of that, I felt like I was maybe, I would guess, is that I felt like I was going to be put in a box and say that, no, you're going to be like this. And it's like, oh, come on, I'm not, I don't want to be that box. I want to be me. I want to be the person that I am. And I was so young, and I really felt like what I really needed was I needed more time to find out what I really wanted to do, musically wise. So, and I really wanted to I wanted to find it out myself.
Yeah. See, now it makes sense. I mean, hearing you say that your mother was singing country western tunes and your brothers are listening to Queen, and you're sort of all over the map. And I read this thing that the record producer, Chris Roberts, said. He said that you were something of a chameleon.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true? That you sort of like to absorb all kinds of... You don't want to be, as you said, stuck in a box, musically.
Well, right now, I think I'm getting to a point where I found out what I wanted to do.
You're starting to feel settled.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, it's been a long way. But I feel like, well, people said that people compare me with a potato, because potato you can use for everything. I don't know if I like that, but...
I like chameleon better.
Yes. But for me, it's just important that I got this chance to do this different style of music, because that's really what I wanted to do, and I could try them out, and then I could feel, I liked it, but I didn't feel that comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel like I feel very comfortable in doing my what my heart tells me to do,
Right.
and to develop my own expression in a way.
You know, you sing so many, in so many different kinds of languages.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you think that, the soul of a song, the essence of a song is not in the words then so much as it is in the melody. Do you think that's true?
Well, it depends what style it is.
Huh.
I mean, if you're a singer-songwriter, it's definitely, the words is very important.
Sure.
But that type of music that I do, very often the melody is the first thing that comes out. For instance, when I did Titanic, the soundtrack of Titanic, that's a very haunting melody. And I was not singing one word.
Right.
But still, the emotion of what was going on, I had to get that through just by singing "oh."
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
And that means that you have to make your own story in your head, and you just have to be an instrument.
But I wonder if you think that, you've in the United States, for example, in America, people are pretty focused on the words. I mean, that helps us make sense for some reason. But you've said before that that's not really what happens in Europe or in Scandinavia. That the words don't really matter as much. It's the melody.
Yeah.
Why is that? Do you think?
I think it has something to do with tradition.
Yeah.
Because in so many years, for instance, in Norway, we got songs from Germany, from England, from back old days. We got songs in Latin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not everybody knew Latin, but the melody, the way that the melody flowed along, and then the words were just like beautiful sounds to that melody, and I guess that what is very important is that the melody is just like lifting up the song even more. If I sing a song in Norwegian, and my friends, they say, "Oh, it's such a beautiful song," and I said, "Yes, the lyrics are very nice too." "Oh, what is that song really about?" And you go like, "Come on, this is in Norwegian. Don't you understand what I'm singing?"
Right, right.
Because the first thing they listen to is actually the melody.
I want to ask you about the Norwegian hymn, "Teach Me to Know," or "Teach Me to See Your Pathways."
Yeah,
Which it's a song you've sung before. It was on your album, All Good Things.
yeah.
There's a story that comes with that song. I wanted you to talk about that, if you would.
Yeah, it was a pilgrimage who was coming home, and he lived on the countryside of Norway. And when he came home, his house was burned down, and he's lost his whole family. And he was walking down, and he was just searching through the ruins, and he had lost everything. And then he wrote these lyrics.
Men vil din sterke hånd meg lide, jeg aldri feil på målet ser, og for hvert håp som dør her nede, får jeg et håp i himmelen.
Teach me to know your pathways, because everything that is given to me is not mine. It's yours.
So it's about what? It's about faith? It's about trust?
It's about faith, it's about trust, and it's about that we will all meet one day in heaven.
You say you don't like to look back that much, that it's okay to sing songs from the past. People love it, but that for you the idea is to think forward. So are you thinking a lot about what's next for you, or are you feeling settled these days, that who you are as a singer, your repertoire, your music, as a mother, all of that?
Well, settled, yeah, more or less. I'm a little bit settled, but not too much.
Yeah.
I think it's important to sort of, as an artist, it's very important to have your mind open all the time, because as an artist, you should always be hunger for something new. You should always look out for. You should always be hungry to learn, and that's what I feel. I feel like I've just started at school. I've just started to learn something, and I don't know. I hope I will never finish to be educated. I will never graduate, maybe,
Yeah.
but I always, it's like a school for me, and there is so much to learn.
First time you came was in 2005, and you were singing with the Tabernacle Choir, celebrating the the Norway Centennial Celebration. What did you know about the choir then, and what's it like to sing with this collection of voices, 360 strong or something?
Oh, well, everybody's heard about Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just coming into that and hear that sound of that mass of voices, of heavenly voices, angelic voices. It was so wonderful. I really felt like I can't sing on top of this because this is too beautiful. I don't want to ruin anything. And I really felt like when I was invited back for the Christmas, and you come into this huge arena, huge room.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind may moan.
You really felt like, even though it was so big, it was so warm and intimate, and it's so special. And I remember I had to call home, Mom and Dad, I have to listen, and I had to talk about it because it was such a strong, it was so emotional to have that experience, and also to sing with the choir and the orchestra. It's one of the greatest experiences you can have as a singer, actually, to do music with such a fantastic group. I must say that when I came back for the Christmas show, I was greeted with open arms, saying, "Welcome home, Sissel."
Wow.
And that's actually how I felt like. I felt like I was coming home, and it was wonderful.
What shall I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what I can give him, give my heart. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what I can